Hey friends, Dustin here from Dusty Outdoors. Welcome back to another adventure. So on this one, I find myself just outside of Duluth. Obviously behind me is Lake Superior. We're going to be at a rest stop tonight because unless you booked months and months ago, this time of year you're not going to find any campsites. At least not spur of the moment. I have a very nice neighbor up there who is allowing me to use their power off their camper to charge the Blue Eddy, which I'll explain in a bit. I'm just in a small little pull-off. There's one other camper over here. Super nice person, because I got up here and it is just so darn hot that for some reason my solar panel could not keep up to my power needs today, running the fridge and whatnot. This person's in a motorhome, a couple parking spots down, running the generator so they can run the AC. They offered up one of their plugs, so I walked my power station over there and currently have it charging right over there. You can see it on the ground right there. So I made sure they knew I was super appreciative of them for doing that. But it's a hot one, friends. It's a hot one. So the fridge has pretty much been constantly running because she's an oven back there in the camper. Now once I get back there, I'll turn the fan on and open up the window and it'll cool right down. It's supposed to be in like the 60s tonight up here. So now something that, well, basically all of you do not know about me because I've never mentioned it before, is I love to storm chase. I don't get the opportunity to often because I just, I don't live in Tornado Alley, but I don't need to chase tornadoes necessarily. I just like storm chasing in general. I think they're beautiful, and it all started, I think, from back when I was a kid. I was super afraid of storms, super afraid. I couldn't sleep if it was storming. I don't know where that fear came from, but I was just super afraid of storms. And honestly, until I was pretty old, I think because of that, I just decided to learn as much as I could about storms and weather. I even was pretty convinced I was going to go to college to be a meteorologist for quite some time. But turns out I hate math. You got to do a lot of math to be a meteorologist. So I went with the heavy equipment technician route, but that's a story for a different day. My crazy fear of storms is really what drove me to learn about storms, to learn about how they form, inflows, outflows, how to read radars, how to read velocities in a radar, all that stuff. And I am not a professional at all. So I'm always pretty careful when I do stuff like that. I'm saying all this to let you know that there might be some storms here tomorrow, so we'll see. It might be fun. Alright, as you can see, we're in the camper now. Give you a little shot from this side. I kept the top down. I don't need it up. Thanks to the very nice neighbor. We're back up to 80%. Plus we're at like 84% on this one, which is the one that runs the fridge. Fridge is sitting at 47. Actually, turn that down. It's at 34, so. I did have the fridge unplugged for a while, so it's probably just going to cool back down now. I don't have anything, I don't have meat or anything in it. I just have water in it right now. So I'm not concerned about anything going rancid on me, but it's nice for some nice, cool, refreshing drinks. So it was around 90 degrees up here today, very high humidity. I got Lake Superior right out behind my truck to wake up to in the morning, but other than that, I think I'm just gonna hit the hay and we'll wake up tomorrow and see what we can get into. If there's storms rolling in, we're gonna do some storm chasing or intercepting or something. And if there's not, we'll find something else to get into, maybe a hike or something. So we'll see you in the morning, friends. Good night. Good morning, friends. Just mixed up a little cup of coffee here. We're gonna get that drank up. Now we do have some storms on the way. There is some storms just to the north of me, which I do not plan to go after. But then there's also a storm that is in between kind of Brainerd, Minnesota and Duluth, Minnesota, heading this way. And that one is severe warned. So we'll see if we can intercept that one. And then, I don't know, maybe go on a hike or something. Depends on how long we intercept that other storm. Let me give you a look-see of my view. Guy can't complain with that. It was super quiet here last night, no issues. So if you're ever out traveling, always know that little rest stops are an option if need be. You know, assuming there's no signs that say no overnight camping, stuff like that. There's nothing saying that parking overnight was prohibited here. The neighbor in the motorhome has stayed here before with no issue. So it was an educated decision, and that's all you can ever do, and always go with your gut as well. And I felt pretty good about this place. And we'll start heading east and see if we can see this storm. So much cooler today than yesterday. Oofda. I'd give you the old stats, but I gotta get some new batteries put in this. Alright, well, I'm gonna put things away safe so that they're not flying around, and we'll meet up with you in the truck. Well, the storm I was gonna go try to intercept kind of went away. I'll show you here. So here's Duluth. There's the storm I was gonna intercept. Heading right towards Duluth. Now watch what happens to it. Just basically goes away. The storm's up to the north of me, northeast a little bit at this point. I just won't be able to catch up to those. The conditions are still good for storms a little later, so maybe we'll go try to figure out something to do in the area for a while. Hit up some lookouts, stuff like that. Alright, friends, we are in Duluth now. We got us a couple big ships coming in. Pretty cool stuff. Alright, so we're still in Duluth. We're on the east side of Duluth, and figured I'd come and check out this falls. We're right above it right now. I'll have to hike down a little further. Check it out. We'll walk down to the bottom of it. Should be pretty cool down there. I love this area. Alright, just came down that. Not too shabby. Well, that was a pretty falls. While I'm in Duluth, there's 3 falls that are pretty much right within Duluth. So we're gonna go check those out. Alright, so now we're actually still in the same park, Lester Park, just on the other side of it. I just figured I'd show you all what it looked like. This is also the park that when me and my friend were here biking, doing the Duluth Traverse, we started at Lester Park, which is the far northeast portion of Duluth, and then you end up actually southwest of Duluth. And it's around 40-ish miles, but this is Lester Park, pretty cool. Nice playground for the kids. Alright, so now we're at a place called Two Sisters Falls, which, believe it or not, is still in Lester Park, I believe. If not, it's just outside. But I'm pretty sure it's still part of Lester Park. Oh, I can hear it. Alright, so that is called Two Sisters Falls. And it's still in Lester Park. Or near the edge of it, but I'm pretty sure it's still in Lester Park. So that's 2 waterfalls in Lester Park. And then I got one more thing while we're in Lester Park area that I'd like to show you. Let me know in the comments if you guys have ever seen an abandoned golf course, because we're about to go look at one. So on this side we got hole 1. That's what it would have looked like, and that's currently what it looks like. So I'm standing out here on hole 1, kind of trying to figure out where the tee-off point would be. Grass is a little different right there, but it's also a little different right there. I bet it was up here. Hole would have been way up there. I'd like to go see if the hole's still in the ground somewhere. Let's go check it out. Nice little trail here. So I'm going to see if I can get down there, which would be the hole for hole 1. Too bad they still didn't have the carts. I will say it appears that an abandoned golf course is super nice for like animals that like prairie, that would like prairie, and all the pollinators and grasses and stuff. Check this out. That's some pretty cool looking grass. I'll actually walk out in the grass here so you can get an idea of how tall it is, because I know sometimes on camera it's hard to really get a grasp of how tall the grass is. There's one of the old sand traps. Alright friends, we're at the end of hole 1. There's a little trail on to hole 2. Looks like the sign's down, but I want to go up here and see what the green looks like now. Oh, well, you can definitely tell where the green was. The weeds completely change into more broadleaf, coarse weeds. We even got some thistles here. But look at this view from the green on hole 1. That's Lake Superior. That's an extremely long ship. I didn't think exploring an abandoned golf course would be as cool as it is. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time here looking for if the hole is still in the ground. If I find it, I'll show you. If not, maybe we'll sneak to the next hole and just see what it looks like. Alright, well, I spent a few minutes looking for if the hole was still there. They probably filled it, just so no animals or people twist their ankle on it or anything like that. I don't know for sure. Maybe just nature in general refilled the hole. But I couldn't find one. But, man, great views from this course. I wonder why it shut down. I'll have to look up to see if there's any info on that. Alright. So here would be hole 2, I'm assuming. We got some pavement down here still. Doesn't show any info on this one, but big course. That kind of shoots straight again. Looks like maybe a sand trap down there. Huh. Well, we'll start meandering back to the lodge part of this place. Or I'm not a fancy guy. I don't know the terminology for this. kind of thing, back to the main office building of this place. So as I walk down this nice little path, I will say they do have this open to the public, and they do have trails like the one I'm on and the wider one that we were on earlier. And I have seen a few people out walking their dogs and whatnot, so I guess it's still getting some use. Pretty neat little place to explore. I see they got some birdhouses out on some of the trees, so that's pretty cool. I've seen birdhouses on several trees now. You know, I'm questioning why this place shut down for, you know, a golf course with great views of Lake Superior. But I don't think it's certainly not upsetting that it's closed down, because it looks like, you know, nature can reclaim it now and the animals can reclaim this as habitat. So I'm always for that. You can see that person walking their dog down there, but this would be hole 10. So that's the left hole when we first got up here to the course, and it would go up there. The green would be up there. I'll have to check for wood ticks when I get back. So far I haven't found any, but walking through a lot of tall grass. So I was curious if I'd see any bee boxes out here, which I have not. Be a good place to put some bee boxes. You know, not right next to the trail, obviously, but out in a kind of secluded, open area. Because everything is, you know, this time of year, a lot of stuff went to seed by this point. But I bet there's a lot of flowers out here, spring of the year. I mean, there's still flowers out here, and I have heard some bees buzzing around, but I bet the springtime is crazy. Maybe we'll have to come back this spring and see what it looks like during springtime. Alright, back at the truck. But I want to go over here just to check out a few more things around the house here. Alright, we're back at the country club. They got some good ventilation there, so no doubt there was some food that could be cooked in there. Some might refer to the building here as the 19th hole. But I was just kind of curious what it all looks like around here. You can see there's still pavement. Oh, open window. It's kind of sketch. Probably some squatters or something. Got some graffiti. A lot of trails everywhere though, in like every direction. Some sort of garage down here, probably where they kept the carts. There's another kitchen ventilation there. Here's the little garage area. I can only imagine they kept carts in there. Now this to me strikes me as a driving range. Might have even been a little bit of a concession thing there. Not sure. What do you guys think that was? Maybe where you could rent the golf carts? But this is definitely a driving range. I can see the posts out there at different yardages. Well guys, that was actually much more interesting and fun than I thought it would be. Exploring an abandoned golf course. Pretty large one at that. And one with great views. It is a hot one out there, friends. We'll get this AC going. Well, that was the abandoned Lester golf course. I actually challenge any of the locals or anyone that comes maybe on vacation to Duluth or something like that swing over to Lester Golf Course, hole 1, and see if you can find the hole on the green of hole 1. I was unable to. The leaves were the weeds were definitely thick, so I might have just missed it, but that'll be a little challenge to anyone in the area, and let me know. Shoot me an email, let me know in the comments or something like that if you find it. I need proof though. I need a picture or video, better yet. Well guys, unfortunately the storm interception didn't really play out. I don't advise doing that. I know enough about this stuff to keep myself out of trouble. We are in an area where we have the best chance of seeing severe storms and stuff like that today. As of now, I don't think anything's really going to develop when I look at everything, but you can see, sorry for the glare, but you can see Duluth is right in the highest risk for tornadic activity, which is still only 5% risk. But again, I don't advise anyone does that. You know, just stay out of storms and hunker down and be safe. All right, so I looked into Lester Golf Course and why it closed. It was a combination of the park not doing well monetarily, kind of losing money every year, which stemmed, it sounds like, from is when it really started to get bad, and then they just couldn't recover, along with aging infrastructure that needed to be renovated, basically. So they chose not to stick a bunch of money into a golf course that was losing money every year, and instead closed Lester Golf Course and allocated the funds that were keeping that golf course alive to the other golf course, Inger Grove, to improve the play at that course. So they just consolidated the money into one city-ran golf course instead of two. And it closed in 2023, so only 2 years ago. Well, friends, nothing else exciting happened. I pointed the truck towards home. I'm about home now, but that was a nice little wayside to stay at with great views. And honestly, the highlight of the day for me was checking out that abandoned golf course. That was pretty cool. Let me know what you guys thought of that in the comments. But that'll do it for this episode. As always, to the military men and women, past, present, future, thank you for your service. Thank you for my freedom. And we'll see you on the next adventure. Bye, friends.